everybody. Welcome back to Coffee and the Tea. So glad you decided to come by, see what kind of tea I am spilling. And also, of course, I got my coffee. I got my coffee. I hope you got your coffee. And we're going to get into this tea. And I do have some tea. I have some tea. I have some tea that I care about and some tea I really don't care about, but I'm gonna report on it anyway. I'm gonna talk about it anyway. And I said I might just turn that into a Friday segment where I just talk about stuff I really don't care anything about, but I just talk about it anyway. And that's pretty much what this whole show is about. A bunch of stuff that I don't, it's in the news, it's on the blogs, but I really don't care anything about it. I don't. And the first one, but let me say this before I get into the first one. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and give me a thumbs up. All right, let's get into it. Look, this is Kanye's wife. She showed up like this. And like I said, this segment is stuff I really don't care about. I just don't even care about it. I just don't understand why we have to be subjected to that. And why is this fashion? Cher did this same thing. Cher did it, what, 25, 35 years ago? This is nothing new. And Cher has went and put her clothes on. I know she older, but I mean it gets boring after a while. And look at her face. Look at her face. Every time I see her, she has that same look on her face. She looks like someone who's sex trafficked. That's the look she has on her face. And when she's with him, and I had a picture of him yesterday. I talked about them yesterday. He has on an all white outfit, all covered face, everything covered. He looks like an albino ninja, and she's walking around half nude. He's all covered up. She's walking around half nude. What is the deal? And I was saying this yesterday also too. They are so hard on Britney Spears. She'll get in her little short shorts and she'll do a um post on Instagram and whatnot and stuff like, oh well, if she does that, she's spiraling. She's spiraling. She might need to we might need to call in somebody to do a 72-hour hold on her. She has a fight with her boyfriend and all of a sudden, she needs help. But walks around, this walks around every day, her and her husband doing looking like that. And let's not forget their shenanigans in Venice on the boat, doing a sex act on the boat. To me, she seems like you know, all I know is if I was her parents, I would be trying to gain custody of her or something. I would be trying to do something to get my daughter back from the clutches of Kanye West because it is so. She looks like a blow up sex doll that has come to life. That's what she looks like. One of those dolls that you order off the internet. Those real perverted men order these sex dolls off the internet. She looks just like one of them. She does, but yet it's still somehow Britney needs to be on a uh 72-hour hold. Come on now. Ugh. But do I really care? No, I don't. I don't. Moving on. Moving on to something else I don't care about. And this is something else I don't care about. Courtney Kardashian. Well, you know what she decided to share with all of us? She's decided to share that her and Travis had sex in order to induce labor for her last child. She said she was 3 centimeters dilated and they had sex. Why do we need to know that? Why would we care about that? But it is on TMZ today. Let me read a little bit of it. Kourtney Kardashian, you can tell I don't care. Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker rarely keeps their hands off of themselves. So their latest sex confession couldn't be all the more shocking, but it will be a lot for, uh, but it will be to a lot of people. During Thursday episode of the Kardashians, the Posh founder admitted she and Travis snuck in a banging when she was already 3 centimeters dilated while pregnant with their son Rocky. Keep that. And why is TMC putting that on? I know it's low. It's the summer and the stars are out on the beach and stuff like that, and it's not much to talk about, but spare me of that. News that I don't care about, but I'm talking about anyway. Moving on. And of course, her little sister is bringing up the rear in news I don't care about, but I'm talking about it anyway. And that would be Miss Kylie Jenner. Here she is. And Callie is crying. I don't watch the Kardashians on Hulu. I just cannot stomach it. I'm sorry. I have, they say that people are getting to the point where they're over the Kardashian and all their lavish lifestyles and all that kind of stuff. People are really sick of it. I have been over the Kardashians for, I know, 5 years or more. Okay, so I've been over them, but people are finally coming around to what I already felt 5 years ago. But anyway, she was crying over hurtful comments that she effed up her face with so much cosmetic surgery and fillers. So she's talking to her sister, and evidently this is in the new season of the Keeping Up with the Kardashians on Hulu. I'm gonna give them a plug since I'm talking about them. At least I can plug the show. And so, what is her sister's name? I know it's her name is Kylie, and what is her sister's name? I'm talking about the sister that's the model. What is her name? But anyway, she's talking to her on the couch. And she's saying that it really hurts her, people making comments and stuff about her face, and they feel like she have messed her face up with the fillers and the cosmetic surgery. And I understand where she coming from. I get it. Nobody likes for anybody to talk about how they look or anything like that. But she has got a little heavy handed with the fillers and stuff. She has. I mean, her face is looking really, 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 really strange. And I'll tell you another one's face. She done went a little too far too. And that's Kim. Kim. If you saw her lately, you'll see. All of them, I don't see, I'm an old head. I remember this guy used to have this puppet. It was called Welling. I think it was Welling Jennings and Madam. I think that's the name of the man. He was a ventriloquist, and Madam was the puppet, and she looked like she looked like she had too much cosmetic surgery. You know the look that they get, and Callie is getting that look. Kim is getting that look. They just this one went too far. As we age, it's only so much we can do. You know, because you can look at some of these older people with the cosmetic surgery and whatnot, and they look really, really crazy. I'm sorry, they look really, really crazy. And Kylie is only 26 years old, and she's starting to look crazy already. And so she does need to pull back. But, you know, I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. Nobody likes to, have bad comments about their looks and stuff like that. Nobody likes that. But she can go and cry in her Bentley and her Mercedes and her jet and her summer house, winter house, fall house. Okay? Maybe that'll ease the pain. Because at the end of the day, I don't care. I don't care. I'm sorry. I don't. I don't. I have sympathy, but I don't care. I really don't care. All right, that's the end of. Well, I guess this is kind of in the category of I don't care, but it's interesting. Um, Earlier this week, I did a segment on the Doricos. The Doricos, that family with the 14 children that has the TV show on TLC, doubling down with the Doricos. Karen and Dion has gotten a divorce, and they got a divorce, I think, in 2 or 3 days. And Karen, she would they did a piece on Karen in People, and so she was saying that she's doing good, and they're really trying to get together where they can parent together, be successfully co-parent. They're 13 minor children, and they have an 18-year-old that's going to wants to go to college. I don't know if she's going to be able to, because reports are coming out that the strain on this marriage could have been finances. Finances. Because they said he has filed for bankruptcy several times. Some of them, times that he's filed for bankruptcy, it's been dismissed because he didn't submit all of his financial information. And she has filed they are filing bankruptcy individually, not as a couple. I don't know what that's about. And he had a case where his partner was up for fraud, real estate fraud and stuff. It's you turn over that Dorico rock, it is a lot of stuff going on up under there. And I just found it real strange where the judge only gave her $1,168, I think, child support for 13 minor children. He must be broke as a joke. But at the time, what I was thinking was that um, they probably was just gonna split the profits, and the profit. I cannot say the word. The profits from the television show. So I was thinking that, but they are saying that that their house was foreclosed on at one time, that they lost a house to foreclosure. It's just a whole lot of mess. And it seems like somebody didn't know how to manage. They say she has a clothing store and he does the real estate. These reality families, I mean, everyone have proven to be not what they have presented to the world. Look at the Duggars. 20, what was it? Is like, what's the name of they? I think they started with 13 and count, 14 and count, and by the time they end, they was at 19. And now it's all coming out of all the stuff that went on there. But yet it's still front facing. They are this idealistic type family, you know, and in actuality, they were following a cult. They was pretty much in a cult. I saw a show with Jenna Duggar and her husband was on it, and she was talking about the teachings of the man who started this organization in which they their her parents follow and has that influenced everything about her childhood. And I mean, it was like her husband had to deprogram her. I mean, none of these families are what they present. They aren't. None of the people. And it's something. It's something. So I won't say I don't care about the Doricos because those little kids and stuff. I wonder what's going on there. They, I saw where they get it like $10,000 to $20,000 per episode. I would think that they would get more than that per episode, but that's still pretty good. Somebody's messing up some money, and it's either him or her. And if I had to guess, because I used to watch Doubling Down with the Doricos, I used to watch them, and it seems like he was the one who he was the one that was the leader of the family, and I'm sure him leading the family, he led the charge on the finances, and he royally screwed it up, and that might be the reason why Karen wanted to get out of there with 13 children. And this is the gag. This is the gag now on the whole thing, and I'm gonna let it go. Karen had an Instagram post with her on there looking sexy. I said to myself, Karen, stop. Stop right now, Karen. Stop. Not that she's not an attractive woman. She's just an attractive woman with 13 minor children. Now you need to go and sit down somewhere. I know Karen don't think she gonna find a man. If she does, it's hope for everybody. Cause like I said, it's not that she's not attractive. She's a very attractive woman. She's very smart. She's a package. She's a package. But she has 13 minor children. So I think she needs to stop it. And the same for him. Same for him. Who in the world want to date a man who got 13 minor children? All I can say is good luck with that one. Moving on, we're gonna go to our stupid people that do stupid stuff. And the people, well, wait a minute. I wanted to talk about one other thing before I went to stupid people doing stupid stuff. If you have not saw it, I, like I said, when I started this channel, I'm not gonna put up any um clips or anything like that because YouTube do not play about that copyright stuff. But I will direct you to what I am talking about. And this is about Reggie Jackson. And if you don't know who Reggie Jackson is, Reggie Jackson used to be a very famous baseball player. He even had a candy bar named after him, the Reggie bar. So he was very, very famous. And so recently, Willie Mays died this week. I talked about that day before yesterday, I think I did, on Coffee and the Tea. And so what was going on was they were having a tribute. Uh, he went back to Birmingham and he was having a. Let me just read a little of it and then we'll discuss. Um, Baseball Hall of Famer Reggie Jackson said it was difficult to return to Rick Wood Field in Birmingham, Alabama, for the Negro League tribute game Thursday because of the onslaught of racism he experienced when he played there decades ago. In 1967, before he climbed up to the major league, Jackson played with the Birmingham A's in the Double-A Southern League as one of the few black players on the team. The team played at Rickwood Field. The baseball legend, who was part of Fox broadcasting crew on Thursday's game, said during the broadcast that his return to the place where his baseball career kicked off was not easy. The racism when I played here, the difficulty of going through the different places where we travel, Jackson said to the Fox broadcast. Unfortunately, I had, let's see, let me find where I was. Unfortunately, I had a manager. He said, fortunately, I had a manager and I had players on the team that helped me get through it, but I wouldn't wish it on nobody. He said he would never want to relive that part of his life. I walked into restaurants and they would point at me and say, a nigger can't that nigger cannot eat here. And he said the word. That's why I said the word. Because he said the word. He said the word on national television. Go. It is such a powerful moment. And people are people, I hope that they remember that the people that were sitting, at the desk, at the broadcast desk, because it was a powerful moment. I'm gonna read just a little bit more and then we'll discuss. One violent incident happened in 1980 when Jackson was a player with the Yankees. A few hours after a victorious game, a man fired his gun at Jackson over a parking space dispute in New York Street. Jackson was looking for a parking space and the car blocked his way. When Jackson asked the driver to move, a passenger in the car yelled racial slurs at Jackson and threw a broken bottle at Jackson's car. A man in the car then fired 3 shots at Jackson, which missed. News of the incident was one of the first stories broadcast on CNN during the inaugural broadcast. Isn't that something? He said he would never want to relive that part of his life. And he said he would never want. That's People don't understand the level of racism that people of his generation and people of my generation. I done went through a lot of racism myself. I really have. Now I have not been called the N word to my face many times, but I've been called the N word to my face. And I think it's pretty rare that any black person had been called the N word to their face. I distinctly remember the day that it happened. I remember it all because it's like a shock to your system to feel that energy from someone who feels, you know, that they hate you and you just met them. Because the person who called me the N word, I had just met them. I just drove up to the service station to get gas. That's it. I didn't know them. And it is a shock to the body. It really is. So I can just imagine what he had to go through. But he did speak of the support that he had with his manager and his teammates. And that was really, really good. He said he would go to a restaurant. If they wouldn't serve him, they said, we won't eat. We'll eat some sandwiches or something like that. Or they said that they would bring lunch. Or they said if he couldn't stay at the hotel, then they would go to a hotel where he could stay. He said that he was staying on his manager's couch, sleeping on his manager's couch of an apartment building, and said the apartment building's manager told his manager that he could not stay there. That N word could not stay in that apartment complex. Can you imagine that? Go to Google Reggie Jackson and this will come up, and it's so powerful. I just wanted to share that. All right, let's get to stupid people doing stupid stuff. Because that's the only story I really cared about. The other, the other stories were stories I didn't care anything about, but I'll report on them. Okay, let's go to stupid people doing stupid stuff. And today we have a pastor. We have a pastor. He was, I don't know if he's still, but I know he was Donald Trump's spiritual advisor, and I think that is fit. That is fit. You know, him being Donald Trump, who is nothing but a, well, we know he lost a case in for R and for sexual, you know. Yeah, he lost that case. So why wouldn't this man be his spiritual advisor? I'm telling you, if it wasn't so sad, it would you would sit back and you would laugh about it. But this man is running to be the president of the United States again. It is so funny how they attract like kind of people. This man, it's a video where this man was at the White House. He was Trump's so-called spiritual advisor when Trump was in office, and now he's had to step down from his church because of a past. He's what the way he said, an old past sin. Let's read a little bit about it. It says mega church pastor resigned after admitting sexual behavior with young lady. She was 12. You know, I did another one. I think it was earlier this week where a pastor, I think it was, but he was black pastor in Dallas, and now this one is white, and he got to get up out of there. Both of them had mega churches. I can't remember what the black pastor was named. I think his name was Tony something. But go back in my videos. You'll see. But yet and still they want to tell us how to live, and what we need to be doing with our bodies as women and worrying about our immortal soul. Let's get into it. Like I said, megachurch pastor resigned after admitting sexual behavior with a young lady. She was 12. The pastor of megachurch in Dallas resigned Tuesday, 2 days after admitting to an inappropriate sexual behavior with a young lady 35 years ago. The young lady in question was 12, and the behavior, as she described it, would amount to a criminal S abuse. And if you think that he stopped with just her, you're crazy. It is more victims out there. It's more. They just hadn't came forward. Or they maybe came forward, and that's why the board of this church said you guys to go. And this is a church that he created out of his own will. You know, God is funny. You can't tell me God doesn't have a sense of humor. And I'll tell you why. He allowed him to prosper just to snatch it away from him. And you know that hurts. All the hard work and all the, being a head of a church is like being the head. I mean, you're the all powerful in your small space in that church. And all that's been snatched away from him. And now he's disgraced to the world. Tell me God doesn't have a sense of humor. God said, I'm going to let you continue to let you prosper. Then when you get to a point when it's time for you to be exposed, I'm going to take all of that away from you because you're not a good person. Let's read a little bit on. It said, now Pastor Robert Morris of Gateway Church was preaching to more than 100,000 active attendees and was once spiritual advisor to former President Donald Trump. His resignation came 4 days after the 54-year-old Sydney Clemenshire went public with accusation that Morris started, you know, her when she was 12 and he was 21, telling USA Today on Tuesday that she was no longer afraid. Some people don't understand SA. Okay, they think because you become an adult, it goes away. It doesn't affect your life. That you are past it. You can grow past it. No, and why that's what he was saying. It's an old sin, an old sin. Well, it's not old for her. What you did to her affected her whole life. And you went on to be successful where people praise you, and you was even walking around the White House. But God said, mm-mm, I'm going to let you, to hurt you the most, I'm going to let you build you up just to tear you down. I'm going to allow you to build it up until you tear it down. Have you ever watched ants work? And they just build and build and build and build, and then somebody can just come along and just step right on the ant bed, and there it is, and they have to start it all over. That's the way God did him. They put a foot in his ant bed, and he deserved it. He said he's 62 years old, and I'm telling you, it's a hard 62. Tell me that's not a hard 62. If that's the way 62 look, my God. That's a hard 62. I don't care what nobody say. That is a hard 62. It said, we are heartbroken and appalled by what has come to light over the past few days, and we express our deepest sympathy to the victim and the families, according to the statement. I guess that's from the church. And they said that he would tell this story about his past sin and stuff like that, but he always would say the person was a young lady, not a child of 12 years old. He actually used his crime to promote and build himself up, build that church up to having 100,000, over 100,000 people. Oh my goodness. And God said, okay, I'm going to snatch that away from you. You don't deserve it. Tell me God doesn't have a sense of humor. I love that for him. All right, everybody. That is my stupid people doing stupid stuff, because he was so stupid. He thought he was going to actually get away with that. Unpunished. And he had the audacity to want to use it to continue to build on. Mm. But anyway, I'll see you next time. Hey, okay? Bye.